What's going on, everybody? It's Joel here, and today we're going to be talking about the performance of the Nano 11 Fronings. Alright guys, so if you haven't seen my initial impressions video on the Nano 11 Fronings, I highly recommend that you check that out before you start this video. I'll leave a link in the description so that you can check that out and then come back to this video and watch it in its entirety. But today, we're mainly going to focus on the performance, what I think about the Nano 11 Fronings after using them for about 3 weeks now. I know this review is coming a little bit late, but I feel like I've done just about everything that you can do in the Nano 11 Froning, so we have a little bit to talk about. But before we get going, this video is sponsored by Ridge Wallets. I have the Ridge Wallet right here in Damascus. It was really close between this one and the burnt titanium, but I eventually went with the Damascus just because I thought that the design, I mean, it's awesome. So the Ridge Wallet obviously is a minimalist wallet. It is RFID blocking as well, so you don't have to worry about anyone stealing any of your credit card information or anything like that. And if you're coming from a standard wallet, this is like about half the size of a normal wallet. If you are into like going out, or if you're just like in the minimalist things in general, I think the Ridge Wallet should be at the top of your list for something that is in your everyday carry. This blends into whatever you wear. Like, I went out with it one day and I completely forgot that I had it on me. It was like in the side pocket of my pants, but I went out dancing, had a good time, and hardly even noticed the wallet was there. It holds a ton of cards. It's like up to 12 cards. I have I think like 6 cards in here right now. And then got a wad of cash here. And you can either get it with the band like I have on here, or you can get it with a little money clip if you like that style more. But anyways, the Ridge Wallet is a must-have if you're into minimalist everyday carry items. I'll leave a link in the description so that you can check out and maybe purchase your Ridge Wallet. You can also use code AMRAP, A-M-R-A-P, to save 10% off your order at Ridge Wallets. So now that that's out of the way, let's get back to talking about the Nano 11 Froning, starting with the construction and how it's held up over the last 4 weeks. I have not babied these shoes at all. I've done rope climbs in them. I've done rowing, burpees, push-ups, anything that could be hard on the upper or construction on a shoe, and the Nano 11 Fronings have held up just fine. I actually commend Reebok for picking a upper and making it white and making it so stain resistant. So they do get dirty, I mean, but it does blend into the little cross hatches and whatnot, the design of the shoe, so you don't really notice it all that much. And then after rope climbs, I did wash these shoes and they came out looking pretty much brand new. I've used them once after I washed them, but they resist getting dirty pretty well. So if you're like if you have like a white shoe phobia, then I think you'll be fine with the Nano 11 Fronings. The upper construction is held up just fine. There's no weak spots that I can tell. There might be a little bit of peeling on the outsole. I've actually seen other people's Fronings peel in this area or in the medial side. So it hasn't happened to me personally, so I can't really say anything about that, but it does seem to be coming a little loose. Not alarming to me personally, but I'll just throw that in there. The band, this little strap up here, that's pretty loose right now. So after 3 weeks of use, that almost does not even stay tight and hold down the laces anymore. So that's a little alarming. Not that that's that big a deal anyways. It still kind of keeps the lace in check, but just not as good as it did when I first had them, like these ones right here. These are a brand new pair of Fronings. The lacing system on this shoe is it's the worst thing about the shoe. It's garbage. The problem about the lacing system is that it doesn't really do a great job of getting the shoe all that tight. So you'll notice that it gets tight just right in the middle part of the shoe. It doesn't get tight around the ankle. The ankle collar is pretty loose on this shoe, and then the toe box is pretty loose on the shoe as well. This is speaking from the 10s that I have. I did get a size 9.5 that we'll talk about in just one bit, but I feel like the problem is the same on both shoes. It just gets tight in the middle and not necessarily much in the front or back parts of the shoe. There's a little bit of heel slip in this shoe, but another question that people had was, does the Achilles rub? And it does not. It's not turned in as far as the Nano 11s. They did adjust the rake of that. And another thing is that it's also just a softer material in general. So even if it did rub a little bit, it wouldn't tear you up like the Nano 11. So you can kind of see the difference here. So when I had asked about what they had changed between the Nano 11 Fronings and the normal Nano 11s, I was very surprised to hear that the answer was nothing besides the upper. That's mind-boggling to me because these shoes feel completely different than the standard Nano 11s. I actually really like the Fronings, and that's because I feel like I'm completely grounded in these shoes, but they still have the same toe spring angle. They still have the same 7mm drop. They still have the float ride inside the midsole. And of course, they still have this TPU heel clip as well. I have no clue. They could be telling me lies, but the Fronings, they feel flatter. And like almost everybody that I've talked to thinks that the Fronings feel flatter than normal Nano 11s. So you notice it really when you kind of step forward, and the Nano 11s will kind of rock you onto your toes, and there's really no way to stop it. Where the Fronings, if you kind of teeter-totter forward, you can bring yourself back down to your heels. That's one thing that I hated about the Nano 11s, and that I don't have a problem with on the Fronings. It might be the fact that the upper is just a little bit more flexible. I don't know, but that's all they changed between the two shoes. So when it comes to sizing your Froning 11s, I'm going to recommend that you go with a half size down. These shoes run on the big side, even bigger than Nano 9s. I could actually use Nano 9s, no problem, but after a little bit of use in the Froning 11s, these things got ridiculously loose on me. And it has to be, due to design and just breaking in general wear, but these things they run big. And after maybe 3 weeks of use, I could probably fit 2 fingers between the back of the shoe and my heel if I just move my feet up just a little bit further forward. I did eventually get the size down, and they fit way, way better. But even still with that half size down, I still feel like there's a little bit of heel slip that I don't really care for. The toe box it's still spacious, even in the half size down. So I don't think you have to worry about that. And they do open up over time. So if you get the half size down and you feel like it's maybe a little snug, I would just break them in because they do break in very well. Like I said with my 10s, these things broke in a lot and I have a ton of space in them. Other than that, I feel like these things are very, very wide foot friendly, and there's really no arch or anything in there. So if you have like collapsed arches, you're not gonna have to worry about anything pressing up or making your feet uncomfortable over time. My favorite performance feature of the Nano 11 Fronings is just how lightweight and flexible these shoes are. It makes wearing them extremely comfortable when doing any kind of like plyometric movements. Any kind of running is very comfortable in these shoes as well. I personally liked running in the Nano 11s. I know there were some people that didn't, but I did. I think running in the Fronings is actually better. The upper is very, very comfortable, moves with your foot very well. There's no hot spots all throughout. You do get a little bit of heel slip, but I never really noticed that detracted from the running experience in these shoes. And whether it was on either a treadmill or just normal asphalt, I felt like running in the Fronings was very comfortable. Like, they're not the greatest running shoes just in general, so I wouldn't be running like 10Ks in these or anything, but they should suit any run that you're doing in a typical CrossFit workout. Like, I could run 3 miles in these, no problem. It's probably not the best shoe to run 3 miles in, but you could do it. I think running in these is overall comfortable, and doing plyometric movements as well. Burpees, the toe box is very, very flexible. The overall just feel of the shoe, it's light, it's responsive, it's also very stable. So when you're doing any kind of box jumps, I feel like the landings are comfortable to secure, and it's easy to just bounce back and forth between the ground and the box. Doing double unders in these is also very comfortable. Sometimes shoes will light up the plantars of your feet, and I didn't really notice that with the Fronings. I thought just overall, the sheer flexibility and just how light these shoes are and just how comfortable they are made them really, really good to do just about any lightweight, body weight kind of metcons in. But on top of that, they're also very stable. So I thought that the Nano 11's platform was really good except the fact that the toe spring angle was just, it was a little much and it felt like it was rocking you forward. I never noticed that with the Fronings. Honestly, I don't know what kind of wizardry they did with the Fronings, but these shoes feel way, way flatter. You can put them both on at the same time if you got both pairs, and you can feel for yourself. But the Fronings, they feel just way flatter. The toe feels way more grounded. So doing Olympic weightlifting movements, I never really get pitched forward, like any kind of hang cleans or snatches or anything like that. I never noticed rocking forward too much or rocking back and forth through the extremes. So I thought lifting in the Fronings was excellent. I did, however, notice that there was a little bit too much midsole for my liking, and that was a problem that I had with the Nano 11s as well. You do feel that under extreme loads, it does get a little bit squishy in there. I was doing some box squats and some heavier deadlifts, and I did notice that it was a little squishy. I could feel it compress. It didn't detract that much from my lift. Like I didn't miss any lifts because of it, but it was a little annoying to feel that the midsole was squishing up that much. But like I said, I never missed any lift in the Fronings because of that. And though I did notice the 7mm drop being a little high for certain things like deadlifts, I could adjust because these shoes just feel a lot more flat in the toe box. I could get my toes planted on the ground just much better in these shoes than the Nano 11. So that never really bothered me that much. It just takes a little bit of adjusting. Now, the worst part about the Nano 11 Fronings is rope climbs. These things are not good for rope climbs at all. And the reason for that is because the grip might just be too good for the overall fit of the shoe. So when you're climbing up the rope and going down the rope, the shoe will eventually kind of shift to the side and almost come off your foot. I've had some close call instances where I was coming down the rope and the shoe was barely on my foot. I was landing. I was worried that I was going to tweak my ankle, and there's really nothing you can do about it. It's inherent to the sock-like design and the way that these things lace up. They're just, I mean, they should be durable, and there's good traction going up the rope. Coming down the rope is pretty scary. But if you don't use your feet to slide down the rope at all, I guess it'd be okay. You do lose it going up the rope a little bit, but it's a little bit more manageable than coming down the rope. So the Fro Nano 11s retail for $150. So you do get a little bit of a premium over your standard Nano 11s. These are not a standard Nano 11. These ones actually retail for $150 as well. For a shoe of this caliber, I think that's a fair price to pay. I, however, do not think that the Fronings are better than the Metcon 7s in terms of just overall performance. I think they're better in some ways than the Metcon 7s. Like, I think that these are way more flexible. They're way more comfortable to run in. Plyometric movements, I think, are better in the Fronings. So if that's what you are more focused on, like you cared more about gymnastics, plyometrics, and just like lightweight shoes in general, then I would recommend the Fronings over the Metcon 7s. But if you cared to have something that was a little bit more stable, plus is still pretty good for your plyometric movements and a little bit of running, then I think the Metcon 7s are a better deal overall, and overall just like the better shoe. But if you like the design of the Fronings, you like Rich Froning, you like Reebok, I think the Fronings are probably one of the best shoes, if not the best shoes of the year. It can go either way between these and the Metcon 7s, just kind of depending on preference and your own personal use. So I'll leave that for you to decide which one suits you the best. But for me personally, I think the Metcon 7s are the best still. But I think the Fronings are right there. I can't believe that they took the Nano 11 and they made a usable shoe out of it, because I really don't like the Nano 11s, but I think the Fronings are an excellent pair of shoes. So if you guys have any questions about the Nano 11 Fronings, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And as always, guys, please hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.